and after a brief hiatus. Working on some amazing stuff right now with the Trevor Chapman, and we have launched a newish business. Lots of awesome stuff going on. I have got more money right now than I've ever had at one time in my life, and that's pretty cool. And one thing that, because we're running a course right now, I get to see, and I'm really excited I get to see this, people's crap, not the real crap. They're the mental things that stop them from succeeding, and that has begun to fascinate me. And everyone knows, or you might not know, my sitting in the dirt with a cow story, but if you do, if you don't, I've come a long way in the last 12 months, and it really fascinates me to see how I progressed and how I was able to move forward, and then also help other people to make that same progress. But it is difficult because people's minds work differently, and I was able to call myself out on my own bullshit, and of course occasionally I'm able to call other people out on theirs, and sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. But one thing that I noticed, that the people who succeed in our course, one thing I've noticed that they have in common is that firstly, they've usually owned businesses before, and they can deal with the ups and the downs and the issues that you have to overcome. But secondly, I would say that a lack of overthinking and a propensity maybe to take action is one of the most important things. And the people that I see that aren't doing that well right now have changed their mind on their their business. They've changed their mind on what it's about. They've rethought. They've tried, oh no, that's not right. Let's start again. Oh no, I don't feel. They wake up one morning and they feel like they don't have an affinity with that thing anymore. So oh no, this isn't the thing. And they keep finding reasons to stop. They keep finding reasons to overthink, and they will find any problem. They will search out a difficulty if it will stop them from moving forward. And I think that what it is, because I've had it too in my life, it's partially a fear, obviously, of getting something wrong. And isn't that instilled in us as we grow up? We go to school and we're supposed to get good marks, and you're supposed to do this, and you're supposed to always do things right, the right way. And that's definitely something that stopped me in the past, is trying to get things right and do it right. Now, we're trying to avoid failure in advance. And while that's noble, it does not help you, because all you're doing is you're putting off the very important thing, which is to get started and to try. Because if you don't release and it's the same in everything, but I'm talking about e-com, if you don't send visitors to your store, you won't have any data, and without data you won't know what the market thinks of the store, and without knowing what the market thinks of the store, your store cannot be right. You can't have any success, right? There's nothing to improve. All you have to go on is your own feelings on what products are good in the store, what driver would be good, what color would work as the button. How can you know what color would work as the button if no one's visited your site? You don't know. So really, you have to just put it out there, knowing that it's not going to be perfect, but and it will actually never be perfect. There will always be people who abandon their carts. There will always be people that arrive on the site and leave. There will always be people that don't like your ad and don't click, or people who buy the thing in return. There will always be those people. So the most important thing is just to get started and start with a 0.5% conversion or a 0% conversion, and then move it to a 0.5%, and then move it to 1, and then eventually 2, and one day like 5% or more. So that is just a real stick for people, you know. It's a real problem. Thinking, and it has been for me too, and I try to think of how I overcame it, and it literally was from telling all those voices in my head that had been going for like 2 years, right? Telling those voices that just kept, every time I think of a new business idea, a voice or whatever it is in your head would go, that's not going to work. And then I'd go, okay, yeah, you're right. No, that's a stupid idea. What about if I did this business? This is a good business. I could do this business. Okay, great. Puts up a website. I'm nearly done with the website. And then the voice, this is stupid. This is a dumb idea. So-and-so's already done this. Nah, no one's going to want to do it. Plus, you'll have to like pay for apps or ads or thing. You know what? There must be something easier than this. No, give this up. That's bad. And then I'd think of something else. Okay, I know that all these other things have failed, but this is the thing. This is going to be great. Anyway, after 2 years of that, you just get sick of it. You're just like, oh my gosh. I just remember I got sick of it, and one day I literally was just like, you know what? Shut up. Just shut up. I will die having thought of 1 million business ideas, and this stupid voice in my head would just keep going. It's not like there would be a perfect one and the voice would be like, correct, my child, you have chosen. It's not. It's just a bullshit thing in my head. So if you give that up and push it to the side, I literally remember sitting next to my bed in this crappy apartment in Bangkok, crying, and out of total desperation I decided to start this small business, and the voices were like, is that the right thing? No. And the advice that I got from my book that I was reading about it was, write down 10 things, pick one, shut up, and make it work. That was the advice. So I literally wrote down 10 things, looked at them all, picked one, had the voice in my head, no, I don't think this is a good idea, this might be bad, pushed it all out of my head, sent out a message on Facebook, hey, would anyone be interested in blah blah? Had 100 people write, yep, I would, because I wrote it obviously in a group of those kinds of people. Would anyone be interested in this? They would, great. Messaged all of them individually to get their email address. Got like 7, I don't remember how many email addresses I got. Got a bunch of email addresses, and then sent out an email with a thing that cost $9, and then sold some. And when you do stuff like that, when you take action, even if you're going to fail, even if it's like scary, even if there are consequences, like someone might think you're stupid or no one's going to want it or whatever, when you take action anyway, and you continue to take action, because I had done stuff like that before, but you have to continue to take action. You have to push past the boundary where the voice is like, oh, this is a stupid idea. You have to push past it. When you continue to take those actions, you will get a small result. I didn't make $1 million after I did that. You have to start small. I made $18. Guess what? I was never so happy in my life. I cried with joy on my bed, like so happy. Then I posted in more groups. I started posting in other groups. I made like $400. I was like, this is amazing. If I can make some money, I can make more money. Then someone asked me to speak on their podcast. And I was like, what? You want to hear from me? 2 weeks ago, I was crying on my bed. I had 42 cents in my bank account, and you want to hear from me? Is there some value that I can provide here? Hell yes, I will give it a go. I said yes to that. And then obviously out of that podcast, a lot of people listened to it. A lot of people joined my thing. Then I iterated it. I made it better. The point is, if you're just overthinking and worrying about all these things that may potentially happen in the future, you'll never take any actions. You won't make any difference to your life. And 5 years, 1 year, 10 years from now, you'll be in exactly the same position, exactly the same place in your life. Your bank account will look pretty similar to what it looks like now. If you picture your bank account right now, whatever's in there, if you have a savings account, if you have a whatever your bank accounts look like, if you want that to change, you have to change. You have to stop your pattern of self-sabotage, of overthinking. You have to stop the voice in your head that tells you, that's been protecting you, by the way, your whole life, so you trust it, because it tells you not to jump in front of cars, because it tells you, like, not to ask that girl out because you might be embarrassed by it. It's been protecting you because it doesn't want you to feel that, like, feeling of, like, rejection or sadness or, like, getting hit by a truck pain. It's been protecting you. But in this case, and in several cases, you should probably ask that girl out, in this case, it's not doing you any favors, and you have to take control. You have to show it that you're not run by this weird subconscious thing. You're run by your brain, like you're run by the decisions that you make and the actions that you take. And if you don't show your brain that, if you don't teach it this lesson, and if you don't keep teaching it, because it's not a one-time thing, now that voice, like, has zero power over me. It's there, but if you don't keep pushing it away, if you don't keep that practice up of keeping, like, pushing it away and making your own decisions, your bank account is going to look exactly the same in 10 years from now. In 20 years from now, your bank account's going to look the same, and your life is going to be the same. And which is great. If you love your life and you're perfectly happy, you probably wouldn't have made it through this video this far. So, and congratulations. If everything is exactly how you want it to be for the rest of your life, and you're happy not to make any more progress, then please just stop now, because I'm not talking to you. But for people who want things to be better, for people who want to make a change, a real lasting change, you have to take action. And the reason that all the time the stuff that you try fails is because you are listening to that voice. You're not putting in 100% effort. You're not. Listen, ask yourself right now, have you put 100% effort into that thing that you're working on? If you're even working on something. Have you done the absolute best that you could do? Because I promise you the answer is no. For most of you. There may be someone out there who's like, put 100% in for everything, but look, you have to push this fear aside. You have to stop thinking about these potential problems that could happen in the future, and that's why you're not taking any action. Only work on today. What can you do today to drive it forward? Not like what problems are there. Don't look for problems. Look for, like, a way to move forward in spite of the problems. And if you can find a way to move forward in spite of all this stuff, you don't know this stuff, you don't know that, there's a problem with this, there's a thing with that. There's tons of stuff that I don't know, and I push forward because I'm like, well, it's not an immediate problem, so I'll just work on what I can work on. And for some things, obviously they need to be dealt with, but, like, how serious is it really? Could you move forward? Because that overthinking part of your brain will sabotage your success. And entrepreneurs do not try to get everything perfect. They iterate, and they iterate again. We launched this course when there was, like, barely any of it up there. Then we iterated it for our first group. Then we iterated it again for our first group. And then we launched it again. It's not complete. Maybe it will never be complete, but we will keep on adding great stuff that adds value to people. We have people who have made millions of dollars in this course. We have people who have been in the course for 2 weeks and they're making like $500 profit a day after 2 weeks. And the thing that they all did was not freak out about tiny issues. They moved forward, they pushed forward, they did not overthink. They followed the instructions. If there was something that wasn't mentioned in the instructions, they left it or they didn't deal with it, because if it was important, we would have told you to do it. The people who have done the best have actually asked the least questions as well. You have to trust yourself at some point. You have to choose yourself. If you're looking for someone to hold your hand, it's definitely not going to be me. You have to hold your own hand. Anyway, look, those were my thoughts on overthinking, and trust yourself, choose yourself. I did, and I felt like I was absolutely nothing at that time. I felt like less than nothing. So if you choose yourself and you trust yourself, you'll succeed. You just have to keep going.